Coming up on WTV News, $2,000. That's how much more Warburg education will cost you. We have reaction about next year's rise in tuition.
And Senate elections are tomorrow. We'll tell you all about who is running this year.
In WTV News, we'll be giving some advice in a new segment. You won't want to miss it.
You're watching WTV News, live on Warburg Television. From the Grant Price Studio, breaking news, local coverage, and sports. This is WTV News.
Welcome to WTV News. I'm Jacqueline Schutte.
And I'm Danny Householder. We'll start off tonight with a look at the new tuition numbers for next year.
The cost of going to Warburg has gone up by almost $8,000 in just the last 5 years.
WTV's Ben Hoppenworth joins us in the studio now with a closer look at why the tuition keeps going up. Ben?
All right, thanks, Danny. I talked to Warburg's Vice President of Enrollment Management to see why these costs are going up so fast and if they're showing any signs of slowing down. An email from President Colson last Tuesday. Overall, the cost of going to Warburg increased by 4.5%. Although that 4.5 is the lowest increase by percentage, it still adds up to nearly $2,000. Warburg uses these extra funds to help balance the school's budget, which largely goes into paying for financial aid. Warburg's policy is for students to keep the same financial aid package for all 4 years. As tuition increases, financial aid increases. So why not keep tuition lower to keep financial aid lower? The answer comes down to the value of a Warburg education.
People believe when they pay more, they get greater value. And not just for college tuition, but for a car, for, you name it.
But is there a point where Warburg's prices are even too high to be competitive with the state schools?
Most students who graduate from UNI are taking 5 years on average to graduate. So then you would have to factor in a year's worth of lost earnings.
At a 4.5% increase per year, next year's incoming class, the class of 2017, will be paying just short of $50,000 their senior year. In just 15 years, costs will double to $86,000. And in only 21 years, Warburg costs will pass the $100,000 mark.
Mine is 21 years from now, or 20 whatever, what is your salary going to be? It really, in the end, is the relative cost in relationship to what you're paying for everything else. What will a car cost in 20 years? What will a mortgage, an average mortgage amount be for a home, and so on?
Waldstein told me Warburg's goal is to increase enrollment each year. This year, enrollment dropped by about 60 people from last year, which means less money coming into the college. This 60 student drop, or any drop for that matter, is always a concern.
We're not talking about having huge growth each year, but incremental growth is our goal.
Now both Luther and Coe's tuition are between $43,000 and $44,000 for next year. Waldstein says we have to stay around their tuition to be competitive with other conference schools. Danny and Jackie, back to you.
Thanks, Ben. It's time to cast your ballot once again because student Senate elections are tomorrow.
Senate held a debate last Tuesday to help Warburg decide who their next student leaders will be.
The two candidates running for Student Senate this year are Katie Horrigan with Vice President candidate Kyle Scobie.
What makes me a good candidate for Student Senate is my expertise on every level of Senate possible.
Their opposition is presidential candidate Zach Sommers and Vice President candidate Lainey Krause.
I'm a good candidate for a student body president because I feel that I will be the one that will be able to promote Lainey and I's goals and the goals and the needs and wants of the student body.
The top 3 things on Horrigan's and Scobie's ticket are more technology on campus, more communication from the administration and faculty to students, and meal plan options. The top 3 things on Sommers and Krause's ticket are academics, student life issues, and Senate restructuring. Horrigan's ticket say they plan on furthering Student Senate's efforts.
Kyle and I would push for faster changes just by creating that feedback from the institutional committees. There are changes being made, there are decisions being made that we're not aware of, and so if we have more effective communication, if we have people who are more vocal on those institutional committees, then change will happen faster.
Sommers said he would look into conference colleges' senates in order to improve Warburg's.
We don't have all the keys to to most effectively get our point across from the Senate's point of view, and other Senates may have that key.
Also up for Student Senate executive positions are Madison Stumbo and Jacqueline Budding for treasurer. Terry Mueller is running unopposed for recorder. Elections start tonight at midnight and end tomorrow at the same time. Senate will email a link with instructions on how to vote.
The head of Alumni and Parent Relations, Jeff Beck, announced that he will be leaving Warburg College. Beck says that he is leaving to work for an Excel group in Waverly. The college says they are looking for applicants to fill his job.
A former Warburg president continues to pile up recommendations that he leave his current position at Gustavus Adolphus College in Minnesota. Jack Oley has been criticized by students, faculty, and staff at Gustavus Adolphus. In a campus-wide survey, 38% of students said they do not approve of their president's work. There have been petitions from students and alumni asking for Oley's removal.
Warburg's orientation program has seen a sudden boost in applications for next year. The Orange Acceleration Orientation Program has received 40 applicants for only 12 openings. Director of Campus Programming, Ashley Lang, says the applicants will go through a group interview session to test their personalities and to see who will lead the best orientation groups.
I think we like to have a wide variety of applicants so that we can be picky in our process. So we want people that are engaged or willing to be engaged with new students, have some different campus involvements, are just excited about being a part of the staff in general as well.
Some students have experienced delays when receiving packages this week. Warburg's mail service updated their software at the end of January. The postage machine that prints, labels, weighs all of those packages and it sends out the mail was so outdated that Warburg's mailing company could not use it anymore.
It's not like every 5 years we have to get a new update. It was just the fact that the company we were going through to do postage and send things out, the software was so outdated that we had. It wasn't taking that anymore, so we needed the new software to continue using postage, but because of the new software, we needed new equipment because our old equipment didn't support the new software.
Coming up next on WTV News, Warburg College is filled with people dressed in purple having fun. We'll tell you what it was for and how it benefited the community.
And stay tuned for some advice in a new segment called Letter to Self. You won't want to miss it.
1 of every 6 women have been victims of rape or attempted rape in the U.S., with over 44% of sexual assault victims under the age of 18.
WTV's Caitlin Harback took a look at how Warburg is taking a stand to stop this violence.
Valentine, violence, victory. These are the 3 V's of the international campaign V-Day, founded by award-winning author Eve Ensler. At Warburg, students are celebrating this cause through V-Week, a week which focuses on ending violence among young women and girls around the world. V-Day chairman Katie Hennessy says while she has not been a victim of such violence, seeing what others go through inspired her to get involved.
I know many women who have been sexually assaulted, and I just feel like nobody should have to go through that.
V-Week includes a silent auction, fundraising, and its annual production of the Vagina Monologues, which Hennessy says is V-Week's most popular venue.
It can ache for us and stretch for us, die for us, and lead us into this difficult, wondrous world.
The play consists of pieces based on interviews by Ensler with women of all races and backgrounds. The all-female cast included both students and faculty of Warburg. The campaign may focus on women's rights, but Hennessy says it's meant to create equality for all.
It's not just for women, it's also for men. The majority of the time, sexual assault happens against women by men. And so men need to take a stand.
While the play and its cause have sparked controversy over the past decade, V-Day advisor Sherry Covert says the support on campus goes beyond her expectations.
The reaction to it, for those people who have actually seen it, is very positive. Once they realize what the message that is being conveyed really is, many of them have had eye-opening conversations beyond that. It really takes it beyond an awareness that I guess we even expected to see here.
Reporting for WTV News, I'm Caitlin Harback.
If you still want to be a part of V-Week, it's not over yet. Tomorrow there will be a discussion panel and a video project to reveal on Thursday.
Last week, the Warburg Dance team had some dance partners. Every year, the dance team recruits male students to perform with them at halftime of a few basketball games. Participants say they like the Coed Dance because they get to do stunts and lifts they don't usually get the chance to do.
It's something different that the crowd hasn't seen before. It's like an eye catcher, I guess, like to be lifted in the air. It's not something our dance team normally does. So when we get to do that, it's a fun and different kind of dancing.
To see the full story, check out Sports Night tomorrow night.
Warburg's Diversity Inclusions Council met Thursday to revise the diversity's charter paperwork. The charter hadn't been revised in 6 years. Some students asked the council to make the charter more user-friendly by adding a table of contents.
I believe it was the 2007 document. And so we were reviewing that to see if there are parts that we need to update. And it tells what the composition of the group should be. It explains what the purpose of the group is, that kind of thing. It's kind of like our charter.
When we return, we'll show you how the East Coast is recovering from their massive snowstorm.
And it's almost time to listen to one of Warburg's leading ladies and the advice she has.
There are many athletics which students get to participate in at Warburg College, but once a year, students get to help people with disabilities compete in those athletics too.
WTV's Ashley Davis got an inside look at Warburg's own Unified Sports Day.
Bag toss, basketball, and bowling, all in the same location, could only mean Unified Sports Day at Warburg College.
Unified Sports Day is an opportunity, I think, for Warburg College and our students to work with people with disabilities from Northeast Iowa.
Going around and encouraging athletes, I think being able to go give a guy a high five after he makes a basket or something like that, that's fantastic.
Volunteers help these athletes to have a good time, and additionally, they learn more about themselves and the true meaning of life.
Whether you're a football player, tennis player, basketball player, we get to go and we complain about a tough practice, like how much conditioning we do, but then to watch them just be so happy to make a layup or something simple like that, it really teaches you about your life.
But it's also a very rewarding day. I mean, you see the interactions between our students and the athletes that are there, and I mean, they just have so much fun.
It just gives me a whole new outlook, and it makes me more comfortable with them, makes me feel like I can, talk to them and be able to make them happy too.
This year, 120 athletes participated in the event, along with 160 volunteers.
Overall, it's just a great experience. Just doing it last year made me really want to do it again, so I really encourage anyone to do it.
Reporting for WTV News, I'm Ashley Davis.
Surprising news from the Vatican this morning as the Pope Benedict XVI announced his resignation. The Pope made the decision to resign because of his advanced age and deteriorating health. He is the first Pope to resign since Gregory XII in 1416.
After being attacked by snowstorms that brought 3 feet of snow, the Northeast is slowly restoring again. It knocked out power in more than 300,000 businesses and caused 14 U.S. deaths. And airport in New York were finally able to return to the regular business routines after canceling 6,000 flights on Friday.
The U.S. Postal Service is making plans that could get the company closer to financial stability. Postmaster Patrick Donahoe says that he wants the Postal Service to stop making deliveries on Saturdays. He claims it could save the company $2 billion per year.
And now let's go over to Nathan Ford for a look at what's coming up in sports.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up in sports, see how the top-ranked wrestlers sent their legendary head coach out in style in his final home meet. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
There were multiple storylines going into Friday's Iowa Conference Wrestling Championship duel as number 1 Warburg hosted number 14 Co in search of its 21st straight conference title in Co-head coach Jim Miller's final home event. 1,800 people packed Levick Arena Friday night as Miller coached there for the final time as the Knights hosted the Iowa Conference Championship. Gilberto Camacho started things off with a win. Kenny Anderson kept it up, recording the takedown before pinning Jack O'Brien to put Warburg up 9-0. Then later at 141 pounds, Tommy Maroka makes an exceptional move to get the reversal. He would go on to defeat Bo Westfall 4-0. Next up would be top-ranked Cody Silvestri at 149 pounds. He had the second pin on the night for Wartburg, putting them up 18-0. Crowd was loving all of it, even doing some push-ups. Third-ranked Cole Welter, though, was upset at 157 pounds. That would be the only Cohawk victory on the night. Dylan Azinger, seen here, gets the 6-4 decision over Ethan Ball. Sam Upa, Puna Soriano, Ryan Fank also earned wins for the Knights and a 33-3 victory. The Knights have now won 21 straight Iowa Conference titles and 165 straight IAC duels. They won't be competing again until March 2nd at the regional tournament in Dubuque. Ninth-ranked Simpson used a 14-0 run to pull away from the Wartburg women's basketball team and clinch the conference title outright Wednesday, but the Knights were looking to bounce back with a season sweep of Co on Saturday. Carly Jacobs starts things off with a 3 from the wing, one of 3 trays from her on the day. Later, the Knights go inside and find freshman Kayla Cladivo makes a nice catch in the lane and finishes off glass. Then Cladivo pops out to the free throw line and shows her stroke, knocking down the jump shot to maintain the Wartburg lead. And then it's senior Bailey O'Brien showing off her ball handling skills and finishing with the up and under. Knights win 77-70. Cladivo led the Knights with 18 points and 7 rebounds, while Jacobs poured in 16 and O'Brien finished with 14. Wartburg is now 14-9 overall and 7-5 in the conference, sitting alone in second place. The men's basketball team took Thursday off to try and build up their energy for a big road test against Co Saturday, and as we will see in the highlights, it had the opposite effect. Co started the game on a 13-0 run thanks in part to this jumper from Andrew Worth. Thomas Perkins hits a three-pointer to respond, but he was the only Knight to hit one on Saturday as Wartburg finished 2 of 14. Co makes it look easy as Worth lobs it up to Seth Light, who flushes it home. Co-Hawks are rolling as Light finished a perfect 5 of 5 from the field. Eddie Deemer with one of the lone highlights for the Knights as he stuffs it over the Co-Hawks, and Co destroys Wartburg 79-44. The loss drops the Knights to 8-4 in the Iowa Conference, tied for third with Co, and the Knights and Co-Hawks are just 1 game back of Buena Vista and Luther for first. Wartburg takes on the Beavers and Norse this week in the final week of the regular season. Tune into Sports Night tomorrow night at 8 for more highlights and features. We'll be right back.
If you're in touch with Wartburg, you probably know about the school's president, Dr. Daryl Colson.
But you may not be as familiar with his better half, Christy. This week I sat down with the First Lady. She told her story. It's a new segment we're calling Letter to Self.
Christy, this letter is to you at age 18. You've just graduated from high school, and your heart already belongs to Daryl. In a year, you will be engaged, and in 2 years, married. There are so many surprises ahead, so you may as well give up control now, relax and enjoy. Respond to God's plan. It will be much better than yours. Right off the bat, you'll move to Nashville and Vanderbilt University. This is the first move, and there will be others. Because you're so close to your family, it will be hard, but you will get better at it. It is there that you'll meet your first class of young children. They will need you, and you will need them. And then you'll greet your own first child, a beautiful daughter, and you'll be a better mom because of those school children. When you take your baby to North Carolina, you'll wonder how you could possibly raise her well in such a remote and lonely place. But on a dark, rainy night, your neighbors will burst out of their homes to move you into your new home. You will greet your second child, a precocious and precious son, and you'll be a better mom and teacher because of all they taught you. You'll wonder how you can possibly move your family again, this time to Southern California. Your dad will remind you that a full life is about playing the cards you're dealt as well as you can. And your children will later thank you for those amazing years, and now they are teaching you. that when you hope to change the world changes you. And finally, one day, you'll be sitting with Daryl and he will ask you if you've ever heard of Warburg College. And you'll know it's happening again. And you'll remember something important your mother once told you, that as we age, we become who we've always been, only more so. And you'll wish you had known, even at 18, to think more about who you want to be and start now being more of that. For you, it will mean growing in faith, trust, and your willingness to respond to calls rather than call the shots. You'll need to remember that the things you would most like to change for the better have the greatest potential to change you for the better. And that the life you've always imagined will be better than anything you could possibly have planned.
We'd really like to thank Christy Colson. She actually wrote out that entire letter, of course, by herself, as it was letter to self. It's about 3 minutes of about a 5.5-minute story. If you'd like to check out the full version of that, you can check online at the warburgcircuit.org. It aired on our Good Morning Waverly show with Kelsey Bemis and Shelby Burnett.
Great story. Yep. Well, that's all the time we have for today, so
be sure that you tune in and watch Sports Night tomorrow at 8 o'clock and Good Morning Waverly Friday morning at 6:30. So hopefully we're not slipping around too much on the ice this week,
yeah,
right?
That's right. Well, thanks for joining us and have a good night.